wouldn't let us away. Let's see what's going on.
Obvious.
RockoRobotics.
The recent assassination of Charlie Kirk is a disgusting and despicable act, and that kind of political violence has no place in our society. Celebrating such an act, calling for an escalation of the violence,
if you want to give
calling
them a
for
like, subscribe,
retaliation
yes.
is also disgusting and has no place in our society. Now, at the time that I'm recording this video, just a little bit ago, the FBI has announced they have apprehended a suspect in the assassination, and based on the limited evidence they gave, it does point to a political motive. And yes, I am reading from a script, and I don't do that very often, but I just wanted to get this entire message correct. So why make this video? Here in the United States in the last year, there have been several high-profile attempted assassinations and actual political assassinations, but I haven't really felt the need to comment on those because that's not really what this channel is about. This one seems different though, and hopefully it does not become a pattern. I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I never met him. I've never even been to a Turning Point USA event. Heck, I didn't even
I've never
watch
been
his
to one
content
either.
all that often for no other reason that, well, there's just too much
And
content out there, and I've already got my
just,
nice collection
he was
of
just a regular guy, just speaking
that
his
I
mind.
watch to figure out what is going on. But maybe that is why this does feel different. Sure, he was a political activist and a very successful political activist, but he was a content creator. Of course, I run a podunk channel here. At the time I'm recording this, I have a little bit less than 2,000 subscribers, but it is still something to think about. And by watching the coverage of this news event from other much larger channels, you can tell that violence against creators, especially in the political space, is something they're either very worried about because they say so, or you can tell they're concerned about it just based on how they're presenting this news. And in case you are wondering, no, I don't plan on changing anything with this channel. One can say we should be able to just stay out of the culture war, but that is really becoming impossible. Even when
especially when when politicians are forcing you to try and vote.
Spiky Bits, where a very high-level Games Workshop employee who is not named in this article did make some pretty awful comments about Charlie Kirk following his assassination on social media. And Games Workshop did get that employee to take down those comments very quickly. Then, as a second piece of evidence, based on the descriptions of the engravings that the FBI has presented in one of their recent press conferences, it does seem like that one of the casings was engraved with what could be interpreted as a stratagem code for the very popular game Helldivers 2 for calling down an airstrike on your enemies.
That's why people were calling in for, oh, it's video games' fault, but I'm pretty sure he was just doing that to be a piece of shit, right? It's the same way, it's the same way they write manifestos and start screeching people's names, or write people they want to acknowledge them for some fucking reason. I don't know why. It's so fucking weird. It's annoying. Because now you have to put out like a public statement, even though you have nothing to do with it.
You're going to find some comments about people who are looking to retaliate for this act, and at the very least, there are some comments that are instructing people to raise the temperature of this fairly critical situation in our country. Let me be clear, neither of these things are good, and they should not be tolerated. I would like to believe that the best thing that can come out of this holy crap moment for our history is that we realize we're at such a dangerous, almost boiling point, and maybe it can cause everybody to just back down, but I'm honestly not confident that will happen. At the very least, we can hope that the assassin will be brought to justice in a court of law. It is important to remember, though, that the suspect who was apprehended today does have a right to being innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, that is about all I have for you guys today.
Obviously, that's all I can say.
More normal programming in future videos. Thanks for watching.
This is a day ago.
Jason, the creator
I don't want to press him because he's not a political person, so it's like. That's the most neutral take you can get, right? And then we have this. Kash Patel loses it. FBI agents ripped for hiding vital info for Charlie Kirk's case.
Well, FBI Director Kash Patel is taking heat for his agency's handling of the Charlie Kirk assassination case.
He did kind of handle it.
But we're getting reports behind the scenes that FBI agents sabotaged the investigation while it was ongoing. And FBI Director Kash Patel, he is hot. There are reports that he lambasted the FBI agents in a heated call. And we're going to get to you the details of that in a moment. But before we get into that, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense
So a heated
journalism.
call. So
FBI
there
Kash
was some
Patel
fight between
reportedly
Kash Patel
slammed
and
his subordinates
something
in
happened,
a tense
right? So
morning
that's why
meeting
there was some
over the FBI agent's
there was
handling
probably
of
some
the
communication
investigation into
issues.
Charlie Kirk's killer. More than 200 agents joined the online call, which was first reported by the New York Times. An official attending the meeting told the Times that Patel scolded the agency's, quote, Mickey Mouse operations, unquote, saying it was one of the few times in the call that he wasn't cursing. During the call, Patel and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino emphasized the need to catch Kirk's killer. Patel also criticized Salt Lake City agents for not providing him with a photo of the suspected killer until 12 hours later, the Times reported. Well, both Patel and Bongino then flew to Utah on Thursday to personally oversee the investigation. The FBI ultimately arrested Tyler Robinson, 22, the suspect in Kirk's shooting.
So that's
on Friday.
why they weren't given a photo, right? They weren't given
Republican,
like the surveillance photo or
after
anything of the shooter or anything
reached
like
out to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, stating Robinson, quote, confessed to, quote, his family or implied that he committed the incident. Well, we are getting some backtracking on that as well. Spencer Cox just said that the suspect did not officially confess to this heinous atrocity. And we're also well aware of Kash Patel saying that a suspect that had been apprehended, but then it turned out he was later released. So it seems like the FBI really lucked out.
Oh, he's talking about that
in this case.
George Zimmer character or whatever who was like, "Show me!" Yeah, he's a fucking agitator piece of shit. I don't know. Right, there was a bunch of antis at that rally he was at.
From the Ring,
so yeah,
surveillance cameras in residential neighborhood, it was almost a sure thing that he was going to get nailed. So the FBI, they utilized their social media accounts and their media relations in order to help bring him to justice. So they are not completely, to blame for the length of time that it took to ultimately get Robinson into custody. So the pressure from the media obviously helped. But let's be honest here. The FBI does not look great in the aftermath of this as a whole, because those agents that did not give Patel and Bongino the information immediately, in Salt Lake City in particular, they're on the hot seat right now. And you can tell from Patel's language about the Mickey Mouse operations, there could be some fallout for those agents personally. But in the background, there is some very concerning evidence that there could be some type of terror or some type of criminal cell there in the background. And the FBI has its work cut out for it.
Thank you very much for joining me.
You shut up, Bernie. We'll look at that later. Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah. Anyways, on to the next. This one.
September 15th, and the FBI. It is Monday, September 15th, and the FBI confirming over 20 additional people are now under investigation for having possible prior knowledge of what happened to Charlie Kirk.
20 people apparently knew some sort of event was going to happen.
Was there in advance, that the target, Charlie, was announced in advance. Unfreaking believable. Kirk's assassination proving to be a turning point in this country, no pun intended. Supercharging TPUSA.
So it's good. Are we looking at some kind of like RICO operation?
Promoted what happened to him. Finding out this morning that actions have consequences. Thousands fired from their jobs.
Yeah.
We'll show you, and more stories as well from around the country.
Going back to the group chats real quick, there's more than 20 individuals, but this is a great point. I want to lay out how this works. People think we can just get in these group chats and immediately find out who's in them. We, the FBI, are the investigatory body supporting multiple prosecutions and ongoing investigations, and that's another point. Our investigation at the FBI is ongoing.
FBI Director Kash Patel confirming this morning that DNA evidence collected on the assassin's rifle matches Tyler Robinson, who he says also left a note, that Tyler Robinson wrote a note about his plan before carrying it out, and that other people were aware of this plan. Kash telling Fox News this morning, I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody. Then adding that it was both a note and a text message exchange, but that he tried destroying it, deleting it, before investigators could actually have a copy, but they were successful in recovering it, saying, what we're learning in this case is shocking, Kash says, and that there's more than 20 individuals who may have been in the know about this plan. That authorities
he was in a Discord group,
and the
probably planning it out or talking about it, right?
Going back to the group chats real quick, there's more than 20 individuals, but this is a great point.
Right,
I want to lay out
what
how
I
this
said,
works. People think
right, the thing I said about last time was, worst case scenario,
we, the FBI,
it's more than two, right, it's two people, right, it's more, it's like, right, it's multiple people in the doing this kind of shit.
There are scores of people in this Discord chat room, but we have to effectuate legal process. We have to go out there with search warrants so that
and there might be that case, right?
Evidence, it's not tainted by being illegally obtained. We, the FBI, are running the investigation pointedly on the Discord chat group. There are scores of individuals that are going to be spoken to. There are also lots of family members and friends that have already been spoken to. And one more point on forensics. We were able to obtain in record time the text message chain between the suspect and his live-in partner, as well as other critical cellular information from our CAS team that analyzes cell phone data towers in the area to pinpoint the locations of the suspect and other individuals he was speaking with. This is critical information that the FBI processed and got to prosecutors so they can lawfully use it in a court of law. And our investigation, our interviews continue, but we've learned some shocking things when we spoke to his family and friends as well.
Kash Patel saying it's not his job as FBI director to communicate the motive to the public, but instead to communicate the facts, then going down the litany of evidence that points to what Tyler Robinson's motive really was, saying his family said he subscribed to left-wing ideology, that he inscribed Antifa-like language on the bullet casings and everything else. Deputy Director Dan Bongino adding that the Bureau is really disturbed by the fact that this plan was communicated. The intent component was there in advance, he says. The target announced in advance prior.
So premeditation, right?
Did they say it here?
So that's like first degree, right?
Dan promising that we're going to get this out to the public as soon as possible. Roll the tape.
Kash Patel said earlier today that he expressed to someone that he had an opportunity to take out the killer and was going to do it. Did that person do anything with that information?
Yeah, that's what we're really disturbed about. It appears that this was communicated. You see this a lot, Bill, when in targeted violence cases, assassinations, school shootings, where the individual expresses in advance, in a good swath of these cases, his desire or her desire to do these specific things. That appears to be the case here as well, where the intent component was there in advance, and the target was announced in advance prior. Now, that's the part we want to know. Did they know and not say? Now, Bill, you have to keep in mind, and I don't want anyone to jump to conclusions on this. Did they say it, hear it, and think it was some kind of a joke? That's what we're trying to find out now. But I promise you, if there's a larger network here, we're going to get that out to the public as soon as we can.
The Epic Times reporting yesterday on Sunday that Robinson has now been moved to a special watch area in the jail facility.
Well, I mean, because he was
delivering.
He said he was suicidal in a sense.
If you thought Charlie's mission was
why
powerful before,
watching over.
You have no idea. You have no idea what you've just unleashed.
Because he had the suicide jacket on, I think.
It looks like she's right. This may have proven to be a real turning point in this country. No pun intended. First, watch this short clip from Erica Kirk's speech. Then we'll look at the reaction, the overwhelming, massive, positive reaction since this happened. Watch.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea
we saw this already.
What they have done.
We cover this whole thing if you want to watch
They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
And it looks like she's right, folks. Charlie Kirk's producer, Andrew Colvett, dropping these insane numbers on what Charlie's death has kickstarted in terms of new interest in TPUSA. Everyone thought, what's going to happen to Turning Point? Turning Point plays such a massive role in the conservative movement, in the Republican Party. They played a huge role in the Trump campaign's ground game last election, telling CNN just moments ago that the assassin thought he could silence a movement.
In a sense, Kirk was helping Trump with campaigning and stuff.
Watch.
At this point, we're over 37,000 inquiries just through our website, tpusa.com, saying, I want to get involved and start a chapter. And to put that in perspective, right now we have 900 college chapters, official college chapters, and 1,200 high school chapters, and about 3,500 total. So 37,000 is enormous. And so it has galvanized the country. Because I think people are sending these clips around, and Charlie spoke from a place of such integrity and just of what he believed and what he stood for, that it just hits so hard. And I've said,
oh yeah, by the way, just because he was helping with Trump's campaign, he is the devil, apparently.
The integrity of who he was,
he is Satan incarnate, I guess.
And Jesus was so powerful.
He's the Antichrist,
just
right?
Echo and spread, and that's what made his voice so powerful. And you're seeing that now with how people are so moved by it that they just can't do anything but try and get involved in something.
Continue.
And spread, and that's what made his voice so powerful. And you're seeing that now with how people are so moved by it that they just can't do anything but try and get involved in some way. And we've been just inundated with people saying, hey, I run this kind of company, can I help? It's totally free. Hey, I do this, can this be helpful to you? And then the students are devastated. We're getting so many of those testimonials, and they want to see Charlie's legacy live on through Turning Point USA.
And yes, there's a lot of ugliness and hate in this moment, but there's good as well. The woke radical left-wing element that decided to celebrate.
Yeah, even though you have people being pieces of shit,
you can make videos.
Right, you have other people
want,
bringing.
But people may not like it. Now,
together,
showing up to work, these people this morning, learning they have been fired, terminated from their jobs. It turns out employers don't want employees who celebrate the execution of an innocent man. Left-wing media seeing this, reporting on it, and now coming to the aid of these people, calling it an overcorrection, calling it limiting Americans' free speech. Really watch.
I think that this push for mass firings could become quite significant, and it already
is.
It's
these people want, these people want to limit your free speech as they murder you.
Not just,
government what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here.
The Defense Department, but also specifically people who work in
they want to strip you of your constitutional rights as they try to fucking murder you.
When talking about how just random internet users have responded to this shooting.
So wait, what are they doing? Are they scouring social media? Is that what they're doing? Or getting hearsay? Somebody said something? I mean,
so there's one website called Charlie's Murderers that's gotten a huge following on on Twitter, and they basically have assembled over, last time I saw it was like 40,000 different examples of just, essentially a grassroots, people giving screenshots, names, professions. So it's already getting a little bit out of hand.
All right.
Let me know if you agree with them. Is this an overcorrection? Should these people, the extreme left-wing people who openly celebrated, posted videos of themselves cheering Charlie's murder, should they be fired? Is this the opposite of free speech?
Here's what I'll say about this. If you're a first responder and you're cheering for the death of someone and you're supposed to be protecting people and trying to save people's lives, that's a little suspicious, ain't it? Right? If you're in the medical profession, if you're in the police force, you're in military, your job is to protect people, yet you're advocating for the death of people. What the fuck? What the shit is wrong with you?
Rational. Is this
and then for the tech companies,
business owners spend a lot of time.
It's
culture within their
for them, right? For the other people that aren't supposed to be first responders and shit like that. Those people should be right. They're of the same in the same vein, right? They should be questioned a little bit. Because it's just are you trying to harm your own citizen, right?
In your office like this,
are you trying to harm your neighbors and shit?
Is happy that an innocent person was executed in front of his family, in front of his young children? Do you want to work next to that person? Do you want that person employed by your business? I sure as hell wouldn't. Let me know what you think about this. Personally, I find it rich how the left loves to say they're on the right side of history. They always say that.
Correct.
How in the world can you claim that you're on the right side of history when your side is openly celebrating, promoting the murder, the execution of an innocent person?
Correct.
It's crazy. Vice President J.D. Vance hosting the Charlie Kirk show this morning, speaking to Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, who pledged the Trump administration will be going nuclear on these violent radical leftist groups in Charlie's honor. Watch what Stephen Miller just said.
Walk me through at a high level, like what you and I have been working on, what the whole administration has been working on to try to make sure that we don't reward and promote this craziness.
So it's an excellent question. I've said this before, and but it bears repeating. The last message that Charlie sent me was, I think it was just the day before we lost him, which is that we need to have an organized strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country. And I will write those words onto my heart, and I will carry them out. If people ask me, what emotions I'm feeling right now, this is something people say, I mean, you kind of know the answer. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger. And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion.
Right.
But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history.
Charlie showed that. Amen.
And we are going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means. So,
I've got 30 seconds, so be quick, Stephen.
The organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses, combining that with messaging that's designed to trigger and incite violence, and the actual organized cells that carry out and facilitate the violence, it is a vast domestic terror movement. And with God as my witness...
So he's basically saying these guys are, in a sense, being domestic terrorists, right? Is what the... basically umbrella I guess the right exact term, but he's just going about he's just talking about like what makes up the domestic terrorism
we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
We reported a few days ago that there's a crackdown underway already on these left-wing NGOs, left-wing groups as well, the billionaires who are funding these forever protests and riots throughout the country. President Trump confirming over the weekend that investigations have already begun, that there are people, specific people, already under investigation. Watch.
We have to be careful. When we attack people, we have to be careful.
You mentioned Charlie Kirk, sir. What organizations on the left do you anticipate investigating? We talked about this last week.
Well, the problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the left.
So I think the organization she was talking about was like the Antifa, right? The Antifa organization that's been going around doing, protests and shit and riots.
The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
Plan on investigating.
We'll see. We'll be announcing. They're already under investigation. They're already under major investigation. A lot of the people that you would traditionally say are on the left.
They're already under investigation?
Already under investigation.
I mean, if he's talking about, Chuck Comey and there's a Ratskin and all those people.
No, we haven't, but we are looking at names. We don't like that. That's not right. We wouldn't celebrate if something happened.
Maybe Ilhan Omar, that's for sure. Because she's been known to be saying, even in the past, she was saying some shady stuff, And she's been reprimanded before.
Now, who is he referring to? Is it the Soroses? Is it Bill Gates, etc.? We don't know, but we do know that the media is very nervous. Democrats are very nervous. This morning, multiple prominent Democrats announcing they are canceling.
I mean, you had Stephen King be like, "Oh wait, please don't come after me. I'm sorry.
Or are they trying to make it
retract all my statements?
That there's a both sides problem.
I disavow.
I disavow this problem, saying that the political violence in this country is coming from both sides, not primarily one side or the other. The media all weekend long has been trying to paint President Trump as the problem, like always, but watch how they're doing it this time. Watch.
A turning point. I've seen from many saying that it should be expected to start from the leaders. It should be expected to start from a president of the United States to move forward and bring that temperature down. If he is not going to, what do you do with it? What do you do about it?
Well, what do you all do with it? You keep putting it out. If you all truly wanted this to change in the media at CNN and other places, your editorial boards would say, we're not gonna put this stuff out, but yet you continue to put it out, and that continues to stir the base. Man, we had a hearing last week on UFOs.
Wait a minute. We didn't do this.
I take pride in the fact that we do bring the temperature down on this program, and redoubling efforts to do that now.
See what she did there? It's like, oh wait a minute, we didn't do this. You need to turn down the temperature. It's like, you dumb bitch.
By playing the words of the president in order to bring about conversation with an elected member of Congress, that's not trying to stir, that's trying to have conversation. And that's trying to ask you what you thought about it, rather than have you come back and attack me about it.
Well, ma'am, I'm not attacking you. I'm just letting you know that you all need to look within at CNN if you want to continue down this path, because clearly your ratings show that, and the conservative movement is showing that they're not watching you because of that. If you all truly had some objective reporting instead of constantly attacking conservatives and Republicans, then there would be a change, I think. But there's not going to be a change. You all don't want to change down deep. Maybe you do, ma'am, but I dare say that the vast majority of your colleagues do not. They do not come from the conservative spectrum. They see this as just as a Republican type situation, and it is absolutely not. You're seeing as much or more on the left than you are from the right, and this is just down that same road once again. And it proves my point that this will never change.
Yeah, but making broad brush statements about any group of people or vast generalizations when you are not involved in any internal discussions within this network or any other network is also not moving the ball forward in a positive way. Congressman, thank you for your time. John.
Speaks volumes.
Tim Burchett, luckily not having it, telling the truth, pushing back that there is a difference. It's been 5 days so far since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and we haven't seen any riots, no violent protests, no Tesla dealers being firebombed. I mean, there's a difference. There is a difference. This is the time to not let them both sides of the argument, folks. If they succeed in doing that, nothing's going to change. There needs to be a reckoning, an acknowledgement, at least an acknowledgement that one side has gone too far. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think, though. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.
I mean, I agree with him. Yeah. Fuck. But when you see this shit constantly, hey, man. I don't care what happens to you now. Alright? You're to the wolves now. If you get eaten, hey. It's on you. You fucked up, right? Anyways. There it is. FBI finds 20 new suspects in Charlie Kirk's case. Yeah. Right, all the videos we saw, I mean... It just goes to show you that there are people like spewing some hate, right? Making, disinformation, misinformation, right? Labeling people things that they're not actually. And it's all from the left side. You see it. Well, I mean, you obviously have like, you know, your Candace Owens and your fucking Nick Fuentes who obviously go off the deep end and need to fix that, but... You know, that's them, right? They're in their own fucking world, right? As with a lot of these people like Hassan and Death, right? They're off in their own fucking world trying to start war. But yeah, there you have it.